Jesus finds a way to answer the Sadducees' question about marriage and the afterlife. But I think there's more at play here, even than the fact that our God is the God of the living, even than an argument for the resurrection of the dead that Jesus effectively makes. He questions, he returns a question about their entire worldview. He doesn't specifically answer their question, but he challenges them, again, to ask better questions. Because sometimes we get stuck. We get stuck because our questions are wrong and there's no way to answer them well. I was talking to Bishop Gary in the hall today about the fact that I was still struggling with what this reflection, what this weekend's homilies might be about. And he said, well, don't forget, it's Vocation Awareness Sunday and you should talk about vocations. So I said, I will. And I was thinking that that's very connected with the incorrect questions that we ask. Because how often do we ask, when we're thinking of vocations, questions like, why doesn't anybody answer the call to the priesthood anymore? Or why are all our priests from other countries? Or why doesn't anybody have any interest? Like, we have these questions that are out there somewhere, as if we could come up with the program, with the right retreat, with some sort of a flyer that was going to solve these problems. And I think Jesus would tell us, you're thinking about the question wrong. You're asking the wrong question. Because really the question, if we want to seriously think about vocations, needs to be, who do I know? What young man do I know who I would be comfortable going to confession with? Right? What's his name? What young man do I know, do I think could grow up to lead a parish community well? And I would expect that my parish would be in good hands if he was leading it. Maybe more importantly, for our young families, am I raising my children in a way that they would make good priests? Right? Would the people around me be happy if my son decided that he felt called to a priestly vocation? Like, if we ask those questions, and if we have a name of someone, of a young man who I would be comfortable making my confessor once he's ordained, then you need to tell him. You need to tell him, and you need to talk to a few other people. Your pastor, that would not be a bad place to start. And his mother, that would not be a bad place to follow. You need to talk to your friends and see if they feel the same way. And if any of them are comfortable talking to him as well. That if we would like leadership for our church that comes from our pews, from our children, if we want the generosity and dedication that it takes to lead our church to come from our families, then the question can't be about what God is doing or God isn't doing, because he left us in charge. The question has to be about me, what I'm doing, what I've noticed, what I'm able to do, what I'm called to do. And I very much invite our families to raise the kind of children that I would be happy to go to confession to. And I invite all of us to be attentive to those who might be called by God. You can tell because they'll have the qualities that are needed for priestly leadership. And then be God's instruments and talk to them. The question that Jesus would have us ask today is, what am I doing to develop a culture of vocations in my family, in my parish, in my church?
Che volete vesti trezze, che a non ci sta prezze.